Hello and welcome. My name is Valerie A. Campbell. Step into my lounge, get comfortable, and of course, grab your favorite beverage. This is the Secret Vibe Show, where we explore your V for your vision, your I for your intention, your B for your beliefs, and your E for your expectation. This all spells out the word vibe. So where's your vibe at right now? Well, to get it back into a positive frame of mind, I want you to just ask yourself, what do I want? Snap you straight out of that mode of complaint if you are in a mode of complaint. Just ask yourself, what do I want, to get you focused on attracting in exactly what you want. We've first got to get our vibe right. So this is the Secret Vibe Show. So today's topic is one that I realize that I've had this inner conflict for quite some time. And I thought there must be other women that are experiencing this. And it's all hinged on a particular term. Now, there's a video. In fact, you will hear the audio of this. And it's something that I heard when I was younger. I'm not gonna hide my age, but you can guess. And it's called, the movie is called Diamonds Are a Lady's Best Friend, starring Marilyn Monroe. I want you to listen to these words.
Young lady, you don't fool me one bit.
I'm not trying to, but I bet I could, though.
No, you might convince this jackass that you love him, but you'll never convince me.
That's too bad, because I do love him.
Certainly, for his money.
No, honestly.
Have you got the nerve to stand there and expect me to believe that you don't want to marry my son for his money?
It's true.
Then what do you want to marry him for?
I want to marry him for your money.
There. Oh, Lorelei.
Don't you see? That's why we have to have his consent, silly.
Well, at least we're getting down to brass tacks. You admit that all you're after is money.
No, I don't. Aren't you funny? Don't you know that a man being rich is like a girl being pretty? You might not marry a girl just because she's pretty, but my goodness, doesn't it help? And if you had a daughter, wouldn't you rather she didn't marry a poor man?
But
You'd want her to have the most wonderful things in the world and to be very happy. Oh, why is it wrong for me to want those things?
Well, I concede that... Say, they told me you were stupid. You don't sound stupid to me.
I can be smart when it's important, but most men don't like it. Except Gus. He's always been interested in my brains.
No, that much of a fool he's not.
Father, you've changed your mind.
I don't know, son. I just don't know what to tell you.
Daddy?
Huh?
No, Daddy, not you. I guess I mean Sonny. I'd like to spend about 3 minutes alone with your father.
3 minutes alone.
Run along, darling.
I hope that was nice and clear for you. So, the term that I want to address that I hear bandied around so loosely, and it's the term gold digger. So the title of this show is entitled, Are Men Just ATMs? Debunking the gold digger stereotype. So ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it. The term gold digger. We've all heard it. Maybe we've even used it. But have we ever stopped to ask, where did this label come from? Why does it exist? And does it actually reflect a woman's natural desire for security? What is a gold digger? The origins and the link to a woman's need for security. This is where it originates from. Now, before we dive in, let's clear something up. When we talk about a gold digger, we're usually referring to someone, typically a woman, who is seen as pursuing a relationship purely for financial gain. But here's the real question. Is wanting financial security really the same as being a gold digger? You see, the phrase gold digger didn't just appear out of nowhere. It actually dates back to the early 1900s, and it became popular in the 1920s thanks to a Broadway play called The Gold Diggers, and was later turned into a film in 1929. I'm getting tongue-tied today, cementing the term in popular culture. Back then, it described women who sought wealthy men to secure their financial stability, and it's often portrayed as doing so at the expense of true love. But let's take a step back. Why did these women seek financial security? Because they had to. For centuries, women were legally, socially, and economically dependent on men. And it wasn't about greed, it was about survival. Women didn't have the same job opportunities or financial rights or independence that we take for granted today. So marrying a stable, financially secure man wasn't just a preference, it was a necessity. And even though times have changed and women now have more financial freedom, the instinct to seek security hasn't disappeared. Why? Because it's biological. And evolutionary psychology tells us that women are naturally drawn to partners who provide stability and resources. It's not gold digging. It's hardwired survival instinct. And so we have these modern misconceptions. In today's world, the term gold digger gets thrown away far too loosely. A woman who wants a man who is financially responsible. Gold digger. A woman who values stability and security. Gold digger. Meanwhile, let's just flip the script. Men also have their preferences, right? As demonstrated, as you heard Marilyn Monroe beautifully describe. They look for beauty, youth, nurturing qualities. But when a man values those things, nobody calls him shallow. So why the double standard? The reality is, relationships are a two-way street. And we all bring something to the table. A woman who desires a financially stable partner isn't gold digging. She's making a smart, intentional choice for her future. Security is not a sin. So let's get real. The concept of a gold digger is often just a social construct that's designed to shame women for wanting security. Sure, there are people who manipulate others for financial gain, but that's not exclusive to women, and it's certainly not the norm. So the next time someone throws the term gold digger around, I want you to ask yourself, are they really talking about someone who's taking advantage of others? Or are they just uncomfortable with the idea that a woman values financial security in her relationship? Because let's be honest, if a man is financially stable, isn't he choosing to be with a woman who appreciates that? So we really need to stop the name calling and start having real conversations about what we all need in a healthy, fulfilling relationship. So I want to talk about the hidden damage, how being labelled a gold digger, how it actually affects a woman's mindset and her feminine energy. So again, welcome everyone, because today we are diving into this topic that many of us have either experienced firsthand or we've seen it playing out in the dating world, the label gold digger. So I want you to ask yourself, have you ever been made to feel guilty for wanting financial stability in a relationship? Have you ever second guessed your desires because you feared being judged? If so, you're not alone. I'm going to raise my hand up nice and high. I have found it challenging to receive from a man because of that term. You know, I want to talk about the power of words. You see, when a woman is labelled as a gold digger, it's often meant to shame her for wanting security. Shame her. But let's be real. Security isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental human need. And yet, society has conditioned us to believe that a woman who values financial stability is somehow manipulative or materialistic. And how does that impact a woman's mindset? I want to break it down. So, number one, there is guilt and shame around security needs. If a woman starts to feel guilty for desiring financial stability, she may suppress her true needs, settling for relationships that leave her emotionally and financially unsupported. And then second of all, there's that fear of judgment. Many women avoid expressing their standards out of fear of being called a gold digger. They downplay what they need, and over time this creates frustration and resentment. And then there's number three, lowered self-worth. When society repeatedly tells a woman that her desire for security is wrong, she may begin to question her own worth. And that, my friends, is a dangerous mindset to carry into any relationship. So let's talk about something that's incredibly important. Feminine energy. Now, you've heard me talk about feminine energy if you are a listener of my show many times, on many occasions. And feminine energy, it thrives in openness, trust, and receptivity. But what happens when a woman is constantly on the defense, feeling like she has to prove she's not a gold digger? Do you even know the weight that carries? Having to second guess herself, having to second guess how she phrases things. This can lead to hyper independence. And again, this is something I've had to work on. She starts rejecting help and support, believing she must do everything alone. She finds it difficult to receive. And then there's emotional guarding. She stops allowing herself to be soft, vulnerable, and expressive, fearing criticism. And then, of course, there's masculine overcompensation. She leans into control, logic, and action mode, disconnecting from her natural feminine flow. I mean, does any of this resonate with you? Have you ever found yourself holding back your needs just to avoid judgment? So let's just explore that a bit further. I mean, do you believe a woman's desire for security is natural or something society has conditioned her to seek? I mean, think about this. Security is a basic human need. But somewhere along the way, women were made to feel ashamed for wanting that. I mean, why is that? I mean, have you ever felt like you had to hide your standards in dating to avoid judgment? Hide your standards. I mean, if you've ever downplayed your desires in a relationship, I want you to consider how that impacted your happiness and self-worth. Reflect on that. Let's reflect on this together. I mean, do you think financial expectations in relationships should be openly discussed? Or does it create unnecessary tension? Honest conversations about money and security prevent misunderstandings. I want you, like I originally said, to focus on what you want. Yet many women shy away from these talks. Why? Because they fear being labelled. So here's to breaking free from the label. How do we reclaim our power and break free from this narrative? Well, number one, redefine the narrative. Seeking a partner who provides stability doesn't make you a gold digger. It makes you wise. See how you can just reframe that? It makes you wise. Number two, own your desires without apology. There's nothing wrong with wanting a strong, capable partner. Your standards are valid. Own your desires without apology. Number three, embrace healthy feminine energy. Shift from survival mode to trust. You are allowed to receive support without guilt. Some of your ladies, you don't put yourself first because you feel guilty in putting yourself first. This is healthy feminine energy to receive from the masculine. And number four, surround yourself with supportive people. Engage with those who uplift and understand you rather than shame you. You know, your worth is not up for debate. Ladies, your value is not determined by a label. You don't have to shrink or suppress or harden yourself to prove your worth. True feminine power lies in confidence, in knowing that your desires are valid and standing firm in your truth. So tell me, how will you rewrite your own story? How will you show up today? Anytime, anytime we have a conversation about money, relationships, and gender roles, there's bound to be some pushback, especially from men who feel like this conversation paints them as nothing more than providers, or men that are effeminate in their energy. So, let's address the potential backlash head on. Potential pushback from men. And I love men. So men might say, so you're telling me my worth in a relationship is just my wallet? Or maybe he might say, if a man said he only wants a woman who's young and beautiful, he'd get cancelled. But women can openly say they want a man with money. What happened to love? What happened to building together instead of just expecting security? I hear you and I get it. But first, let's be clear. Men are not just ATMs. That is not what we're saying here. No one is suggesting that a man's only value is his financial status. Just like women are more than their looks, their nurturing qualities, or their ability to support a man emotionally, men are more than their bank accounts. But let's be honest, security matters. And it matters for both genders. Men want security too, just in different ways. You want to know your partner has your back. You want emotional security. You want loyalty. You want peace in your relationship. You want to feel valued beyond what you can provide financially. And guess what? That's valid. But let's flip it. Why is it a problem when a woman also values security? Why is it a problem when a woman also values security? If a man wants a woman who brings peace and support into his life, is it wrong for a woman to want a man who brings stability into hers? See, we're not talking about gold digging. We're talking about a mutual exchange of value in a relationship. Building together versus expecting a handout. Now, if a woman expects to be financially taken care of without contributing anything to the relationship, yes, that's a problem. But most women aren't looking for a free ride. They're looking for a partner, someone who is stable, someone who is reliable and capable of building a future together. Just like most men aren't looking for a supermodel. They're looking for a woman who makes them feel respected, appreciated, and supported. See the balance? Both men and women have standards, and that's okay. So, looking to the bigger picture. So, to the men who feel offended by this conversation, because I expect a little bit for backlash, I ask you this. Do you want a woman who respects you for more than just what's in your bank account? Of course. Do you want a relationship where you feel valued and secure? Absolutely. Do you also understand that a woman wants those exact same things, just in a different form? Because that's the heart of this conversation. At the end of the day, relationships thrive when both people bring something valuable to the table. And if we can move past the stereotypes and the name calling, we'll see that men and women aren't on opposite sides. We're actually looking for the same thing, a connection that's built on trust, value, and mutual security. So instead of saying women just want money or men just want beauty, let's shift the conversation to what do we both need to feel safe, valued, and fulfilled in a relationship. Now, that is a conversation worth having. Look, at the end of the day, relationships are about balance. Security, whether it's emotional, financial, or physical, is not a selfish demand. It's a fundamental human need. And the term gold digger has been thrown around far too loosely, often used to shame women for wanting stability. while ignoring the fact that men also seek security, just in different ways. Yin and yang, masculine and feminine. We fit together. So rather than pitting men and women against each other with outdated stereotypes, we should be asking, how can we create relationships where both partners feel valued, secure, and appreciated? Because when two people bring their best to the table, that's when real connection and lasting love can flourish. And with that, I leave you with this. Women require stability, men understand this. We need to stop using this term gold digger and bandying it around as if it's some kind of band-aid. I hope that this message touched somebody today. I hope somebody received it, because I know that this was a term that I had to grow through and grow past. And these are the types of subjects that we discuss on the Secret Vibe Show. Please check out my books. She's Got That Vibe on Amazon. The Difference also on Amazon. And let's start loving on one another. I have a group called the Ladies Conscious Dating Group. If you want to be added to that group for more discussion, please send me a message on 07399 787 424. And on that note, have a wonderful day. The divine in me bows to the divine in you. See you next time on the Secret Vibe Show. Over and out. Bye-bye.